Lechem va'alitem etz atzmotayim. Bodei olam, he will surely consider to have my bones brought up. Parshat Vayechi unfolds a poignant chapter in Jewish history, making the departure of two venerable figures, Yaakov Avinu and his righteous son Yosef HaTzadik. The narrative also serves as a prelude to the bitter exile of the Jewish people in Mitzrayim and the epic saga of Moshe Rabbeinu. A fascinating aspect of the portion lies in contrasting the circumstances surrounding the deaths and the burials of these three righteous individuals. While Yaakov Avinu was honored with the regal embrace of neighboring crowns of kings, his body was ceremoniously transported to Eretz Yisrael for a majestic resting place in the illustrious Ma'arat HaMachpelah. Yosef, in a unique twist, witnessed only his bones being reverently brought up with people, ensuring a proper burial in the Holy Land. Moshe Rabbeinu, on the other hand, never set foot in the land of Israel, and the precise location of his burial remains shrouded in mystery. Nishlah HaKadosh, Rabbi Yeshaya Halevi Horovitz, shed light on this intriguing phenomenon, quoting a Gemara in Nida, that every human being is formed through the collaboration of three partners, the Almighty, one's father, and one's mother. The father contributes to the structural elements of, like bones and brain matter, while the mother imparts the material for other features such as skin and blood and flesh and hair. Borei Olam, the creator, he endows the neshama, the spirit. Symbolically, Yaakov's complete burial in Eretz Yisrael resonates with the harmonious reunion of both his father and his mother resting there. Yosef HaTzadik's circumstance is distinct. He merits only the burial of his bones in Israel, and this aligns with the fact that only his father, the source of his bone structure, found his resting place there. Yosef's mother, Rachel, from whom he inherited his flesh, tragically passed away en route to the Holy Land, and she was buried on the road to Bethlehem. In the case of Moshe Rabbeinu, a delicate sensitivity unfolds. Both of his parents, Amram and Yochebed, had departed before setting foot in the Holy Land. To spare them of any semblance of discomfort, Moshe too was not laid to rest there. As the world emerged from the shadow of the Middle Ages, the existence of European Jewry was marred by constant peril from those who harbored stereotypical prejudices against them. The Polish city where the esteemed Maharsha resided was no exception. In fact, it was especially challenging. The tremendous sanctity surrounding this revered tzaddik seemed to embolden the forces of evil. The Maharsha, a beacon of wisdom, led a flourishing yeshiva where he nurtured numerous Torah giants in Talmidei Chachamim. And however, in this same city, an equal number of priests incited considerable trouble for the Jewish community. Initially, the troubles were limited to muggings and lootings, yet as the non-Jewish population realized they could act with impunity, they escalated to more heinous crimes, including organized attacks and outright massacres. A particularly malicious strategy employed by these aggressors was to strike during times of mourning. Whenever a funeral procession for a Jew passed by the city's largest church on its way to the Jewish cemetery, the church bells would ring, signaling thugs to gather and assault the procession. In their vulnerable state, the Jews found themselves unable to defend themselves against the attacks, often resulting in injuries and desecrated corpses. When the Maharsha lay on his deathbed, his Talmidim were aware that an attack during his funeral was highly likely, and seeking guidance, they implored him on how to safeguard his holy body from desecration. In your journey to the cemetery, he instructed in a frail voice, do not allow my body to be defiled. If necessary, take up arms, but above all, protect my body. If all else fails, take my manuscripts from the bookcase and place them on my chest. That should be enough to save us. 2 days later, the Maharsha's holy neshama departed, plunging the Jewish community into profound grief. Following tearful eulogies, the entire community set out to accompany their revered Rebbe on his final journey. Approaching the large church, they were met with a horrifying sight. Hundreds of hate-driven assailants, armed with spiked clubs and spears, were ready to attack, and anticipating the nightmare unfolding, the Talmidim swiftly organized. 50 of the strongest students armed themselves, forming a protective circle around the coffin, willing to sacrifice their lives to preserve their Rebbe's remains. The rest of the Talmidim formed outer circles around the Mitah, and as the church bells rang, thousands of assailants closed in on the Talmidim, inflicting injuries and instilling fear. They pushed through the Jewish rings until they were almost upon the coffin. Amidst the chaos, a quick-thinking Talmid maneuvered through the crowd, dodging the blows, and retrieved the manuscripts from the wagon. Breathing heavily, he gently placed the pages on the Maharsha's chest. Miraculously, the Maharsha's lifeless arms moved, clutching the pages and slowly turning them. Suddenly, without warning, the church collapsed, burying hundreds and injuring many more. Stunned survivors fled, leaving the coffin and the Jews unscathed. In the wake of this miraculous event, the Jewish community laid their esteemed Rebbe to rest, and their reverence magnified by the profound impact of his greatness. From Yaakov's majestic farewell to Yosef's singular journey and the courage of the Maharsha's Talmidim, a common thread unfolds. It's the intricate dance between mortality and unwavering conviction. These narratives beckon us to reflect on our own stories, acknowledging that resilience is what binds the generations. Here we don't just find history, we discover an invitation to contemplate life's sacred journey, leaving behind a legacy of steadfast emunah, and more importantly, fortitude for our children. Shabbat shalom.